So, um, we are continuing with that topic on reproductive system in human beings. In the previous lecture, you all remember we had discussed about the basic idea about the reproductive aspects when it comes to human beings, right? We had discussed about the topics like adolescence, puberty, right? And what are the different concerns associated with it, right? वो सब हमने discuss किए थे, and then we had started with something called secondary sexual characters, the different characters which are present or which are able to distinguish between the males and the females. Okay. And then after understanding that, we had discussed about the male reproductive system in human beings. So we had seen all the different parts which are present in the male reproductive system, their locations, their number, their structures, and the functions. Okay, and we have seen the main point that the primary sex organs in the males are the testes, which produces the male gamete, that's the sperm, okay, and also produces the male sex hormone, which is known as the testosterone. These main points you have to remember, everyone. Okay, so after understanding about the male reproductive system, now the next thing that we have to learn is about the female reproductive system. Okay, so in this lesson, right from the beginning, we have been seeing the reproductive aspects of every type of organism, right from the unicellular ones we have seen. So here we are talking about the most complicated organism, that's the human beings, right? And that's why you're able to see that, if you compare all this with a organism like amoeba, where the reproduction was very simple, right? But here the reproductive system is quite complicated. Okay, so talking about the female reproductive system, similar like the males, there are the primary sex organs. Okay, and any primary sex organ, when you say it has got two main functions, whether it is a male or a female, it is the first thing, production of the respective gametes. Okay, and secondly, production of the respective sex hormones. So in the males, it was the sperms and the testosterone respectively. In the female, similarly, there are the primary sex organs which are producing the female gamete, which is known as the egg cell, and there is a female sex hormone called estrogen. That's the role of primary sex organs. Okay, similarly, there are the secondary sex organs, okay, in which we'll see all the different parts which are associated with the primary and they help the primary organs in their functioning, and along with that there are accessory glands. So the broad classification of all the organs remain the same for male and female, but the respective parts within that will differ. Okay, so when you talk about the primary sex organs in the females, it is nothing but a pair of ovaries. Okay, you can look at the diagram also that is given, and there is a diagram given in your textbook as well. So in a female, in the body of a female, it is located in the lower abdominal region. Okay, in the lower abdominal region over here, all the reproductive organs are located. So if you look at this, all these organs are internally located. That's a very important point one has to remember. Okay, in the case of males, there were two organs which were located outside the body. Okay, that's the scrotum and the penis. Here in the females, every organ is located inside the body. Okay, so here, as you can see in the diagram, if you observe this part, in this diagram, you can see there is this huge cup-shaped structure. Okay, that's called as the uterus. Outside the uterus, but inside the abdomen itself, on both the sides, you can see these structures, these two. On both the sides, there is one ovary each. Okay, so it's like there is a this organ, will come to that, that's called as a uterus. On both the sides of the uterus, there is one ovary each. So each ovary located on both the side are the primary sex organs in females. Okay, remember this point very, very carefully. When you talk about a primary sex organ, the main functions are producing the respective gamete and producing the respective sex hormone. That's important. Okay. Then coming to the secondary sex organs, which are the associated structures. Okay. So here you have different parts. Okay. Like the first one is named as the vulva. Okay. Now what is the vulva? It is nothing but the external genital organs in a female. Okay. All the genital organs in the female body observed between the two thighs. That's called as the vulva, and it appears like this. Okay. So in the genital region of the female, there is, you can see one opening which is called the urethral opening. This is the opening. Whenever there is any natural opening on the body, it is known as the orifice. Okay. So here it is urethral orifice, which you can see. It is only for passing out urine. Okay, that's the urethral opening. This is the one which is different from males and females. In the males, the urethral opening, urethra passes through the penis, and it is the common opening for urine as well as semen. Okay, but here the urethral opening is only for passing out urine. Okay, above the urethral opening, you can see below the urethral opening, you can see something called vaginal opening over here. Okay, that slightly larger orifice below the urethra, that's the vaginal opening. This is the opening that internally leads into the vagina. You can see this diagram simultaneously. It is labeled as vagina. That's a hollow canal or a tube internally, which continues into the uterus. Okay, so this vaginal opening is for that purpose. Okay, in order to understand the functions of the vagina, you have to remember 3 letters. Okay, functions of the vagina can be understood by 3 letters, which are very well aware about, and that is PCM. What is PCM? Okay, Deepali has also joined. Hello, Deepali.
Yes, sir.
Be on the screen. Well, which are the meanings of PCM that you are aware about? Am I talking about physics, chemistry, maths? Is it? Of course not, right? We are talking about the female reproductive system here. So here the letter P stands for the word parturition. Okay, the letter P stands for the word parturition. I'll write the letters over here. Yeah, the word is parturition. Okay, parturition means what? That's a technical word for something which you all are aware, and that is called as delivery. Parturition means child delivery. Okay, a new child, a baby is born through this vaginal opening. Okay, and that process is known as parturition. At the end of fertilization and embryonic development, towards the end, we will see that process in detail, how the child delivery takes place. Okay, but remember the word for it, that's called parturition. Okay, that is the P. Second letter C. C stands for the word copulation. Do you know the meaning of the word copulation? Okay, copulation means the act of sexual intercourse. That's called copulation. Okay, during the act of sexual intercourse, the male gametes are deposited inside the female reproductive tract. It is also known as coitus. COITUS. Okay, so the erect penis is inserted into this vaginal opening so that the semen can be deposited in it. That is called copulation. And the third word, that is M, I have written, it stands for menstruation. Okay, so when I say PCM, it is parturition, copulation, menstruation. Menstruation means it is a periodic reproductive cycle which occurs in the females and which are called as the menstrual periods. Okay, this word we had come across earlier also, right? But here the correct word is, the actual technical word is menstruation. So the flow of the menstrual blood and the discharge takes place through the vaginal opening. So whenever the functions of the vagina is asked, these are the three you have to remember. You have to remember simply as PCM: parturition, copulation, menstruation. Got it? Okay, and here we are understanding this from the vulva point of view. Okay, so when you talk from the understand from the vulva point of view now, okay, so it's like the vulva contains the vaginal opening over here, the orifice. Okay, now this opening normally is a very distended one, a small one. But during the act of child delivery, that is parturition, this same vaginal opening can expand a lot. It can open up to a diameter of around 20 to 25 centimeter also, because the entire baby has to be delivered out. And that's why you must have heard and you must be aware how painful is the process of child delivery. Correct? We'll see that in the end part of this topic about child delivery and how it takes place. Correct? It's quite a painful process, right? So that takes place from the vaginal opening. Okay. Now, in the vaginal opening itself, you can see one more labeling which is called as the hymen. Can you see this? The hymen is nothing but a thin sheet of covering which covers the vaginal orifice. It's a thin membranous covering. Okay, and that covers the vaginal orifice. So right from the birth of a female child, there is a hymen which is always present. But due to various reasons in the life of a female, the hymen can break. And it can break only once. Okay, so whenever the hymen breaks, it indicates that the female, what it doesn't indicate anything as such, it just breaks only once. And if it cannot be what you can say naturally reconstructed again, okay, but there are surgeries available in order to reconstruct the hymen. Okay, and there are a lot of myths or misconceptions associated with this hymen. Okay, it's like there is a word which is called virginity. Okay, virginity means what? A person is said to be a virgin if he or she has not indulged in any kind of sexual activity. Then the person is said to be a virgin. So many people who are not aware about the scientific aspects of all this, what they believe is that during the first sexual intercourse, this hymen must break. And that was considered as a test for virginity for the females. Scientifically, biologists always say this is incorrect. There is no such test for virginity for males, neither for females. Because the breaking of this hymen can take place due to various reasons. Even during a lot of sports activities, whenever there is a stretching of the body, this hymen can break. It doesn't indicate, there is no way it is associated with any kind of sexual activity. So that misconception has to be understood. Okay, and then yeah, on this vulva region, for because it's an orifice, a natural orifice. Okay, two openings, one below the other, and towards the posterior most end there is an opening of the anus. Okay, so it's like three orifices, one below the other. So there is a high chance that because there is a urine or menstrual flow, or from the anus there is defecation, so there are a lot of discharges from these regions, because of which there can be lot of infections which can affect this region. In order to prevent that, nature has given two coverings over them. Okay, you can see the labelings, something called labia majora and labia minora. Okay, so these are nothing but two different folds of skin. Skin के दो folds है, which keeps those two openings covered. Normally, the two openings are covered because of that. Okay, so when they are covered, the chances of getting this region infected becomes less. So there is a larger fold of a skin called labia majora, and there is a smaller fold of a skin called labia minora. Got it? Okay, and the uppermost portion or the anteriormost portion is this region called the mons pubis. This is the uppermost region, just in the lowermost part of the abdomen. This is the portion where there is a lot of adipose tissue present under the skin, fatty tissue. Okay, and this portion is the one where the pubic hair develops. Okay, it is the mons pubis where the pubic hair develops. Okay, and one last thing over here, it is about the clitoris. See this. Just above the urethral orifice. Okay, above the urethral opening, on this side, there is a small P-shaped organ. It's a small organ, a P-shaped organ, which is present just under the skin. Okay, that organ is known as the clitoris. This clitoris is also known as the pseudopenis or the false penis. Okay, obviously females do not have a penis, but there is a very reduced version of that, which is known as the clitoris. This clitoris has got a lot of nerve endings present. Okay, and those nerve endings are the ones which is responsible for giving rise to sexual excitement in a female. So when the clitoris is stimulated physically, those nerves send a message to the brain, because of which there is sexual excitation, and because of the sexual excitation, there are certain glands located near the vaginal opening which pour their secretion into the vagina. We'll see the accessory glands. Okay, understood the correlation between all? Okay, so whenever the brain stimulates those glands and there is a secretion poured into this tract, it helps a lot in copulation. When the erect penis is inserted into the vagina, the friction is reduced. So there is no pain, no cuts, no bleeding, and there is a smooth sexual intercourse which occurs. And at the same time, the vaginal tract becomes smooth for the swimming of the sperms when they are deposited. That's why the sexual excitement is necessary. Is that clear? Okay, understood about the vulva, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, and the second one, as I said, is the vagina. Okay, that's only one in number. This tract is the vagina. From the vaginal opening, it leads internally over here. And I've already told you the three functions of the vagina. Okay, then towards the other end of the vagina, there is a cervix, you can see. CERVX, this portion. That's called as the cervix. Okay, that cervix is like a junction between the vagina and the uterus. Okay, and the other portion inner to that is the uterus. Below that is the cervix. So normally the cervix has got a mucus plug connected to it. So during the menstrual discharge, the mucus also gets discharged along with the blood. Okay. Then next to the cervix is the uterus, also called as the hystera, also known as the mother's womb. हिंदी में बोलते हैं माँ का गर्भ. Correct. In a layman's language we say कि बच्चा माँ के पेट में. Now technically is it correct? पेट में होगा. Pet means what? Stomach, no? Can the baby go to the stomach? You'll imagine what will happen.
No.
Is the baby digested? Of course not. Right? So it is in the womb, this organ. Okay? इसलिए तो for a pregnant woman we use the word गर्भवती. Correct? That's the right word we use. So गर्भ मतलब this uterus or womb. This is the organ where the baby is developed. Okay, so one uterus or hystera or the womb, and this organ uterus in the lower portion near the vagina it is narrow, but on the other side it is a slightly broader one, as you can see. And the wall of the uterus on the inner side, that means the inner wall, अंदर वाला जो wall है, that is known as the word endometrium. Remember this. The wall of the uterus or the inner wall of the uterus is called endometrium. This word is important because when we will discuss about the menstrual cycle, this word will come again. Okay, there are three walls. Outermost is called epimetrium or perimetrium. Middle muscular one is called myometrium, and the innermost one is called endometrium. Endometrium is the more significant one. Okay, then after the uterus, you can see something called fallopian tubes. Can you notice that? On the upper side of the uterus, there are these two arm-like portions. Here in this diagram, you can see. Here अगर uterus है, so here there are two fallopian tubes, also known as the oviducts. Okay. So this fallopian tube, if the function of the fallopian tube is asked, the only answer is it is the site of fertilization. Fallopian tube is the site of fertilization. It is in the fallopian tube where the sperm meets the ovum, fertilization takes place and zygote is produced. So whenever the question is asked, what is the site of fertilization? The answer is fallopian tubes or oviducts. Okay, and you can see fallopian tubes are elongated tube like this, a hollow tube inside, and on the other side of the fallopian tube you can see the finger-like projections. दिख रहे हैं? These two finger-like projections. Those finger-like projections are actually covering the ovaries above it. Uterus के बाहर से there is the ovary present, and the other end of the fallopian tube is catching the ovary. Can you notice the structure? Yes. So this part, the other end of the fallopian tube, having the finger-shaped projections like this, उसको बोलते हैं fimbriae. The word is called fimbriae. Fimbriae. Okay, it also has got a function. Okay, understood all the other parts, secondary sex organs in the reproductive system. Okay, then coming to the accessory glands, there are two of them. The first one is called Bartholin's glands. Okay, the first one is called Bartholin's glands. These are located at the vaginal opening. Two of them. On either side of the vaginal opening, they are located and they produce secretion into the vaginal tract. So during the height of sexual excitement, the vaginal tract becomes filled with this secretion, okay, which is called as the vaginal wetting, and that helps in smooth lubrication during copulation, which is necessary. Okay, that is the role of the Bartholin's gland. And secondly, it is the mammary glands. Now, mammary glands are not a part of this system in the lower abdominal region. Their location is away from the reproductive system in the upper region of the body, but they are also associated with the reproductive system. Okay, we'll see the functions, the structure of the mammary glands also. All the parts of the female reproductive system are clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like in the female reproductive system, the major important organs are the ovaries, because that is where the egg cell is produced, which is the female gamete, and that is the place where the female sex hormone is produced, that is the estrogen, and that is the one which is responsible for giving rise to female secondary sexual characters. Okay, and the ovum is produced over here, that's a female gamete. One ovum is produced only once every month, unlike the male gametes, as you have seen. Male gametes का कैसा है 200 to 400 million sperms almost every day. See the level of competition, right? One female gamete for which there are millions of sperms. So that ovum produced over here will be produced in the ovary. It will be released from the ovary. The fimbriae will capture it, shift the ovum to the fallopian tube, and that is the place where the ovum travels. इससे ज़्यादा ovum नहीं travel करते. Okay, but the sperms, on the other hand, we have seen the male reproductive system structure. They are produced in the testes, released out of the testes via epididymis, travels over there, taken inside the abdomen through the vas deferens, continuing into the ejaculatory duct, into the urethra, released from the penis via the urethra, discharged into this vagina. From here, the sperms will swim all the way to the upper part of the uterus, and it will reach the ovum where it will meet the female gamete. This is where fertilization occurs. That's the overall system. Okay, so now after this, what we have to see is what exactly happens inside the ovary. Okay, just say in the other one we had seen the structure of the testes, right? So once we see in the structure of the testes, we have seen where the sperms are produced, how are they produced, how they are taken out of the sperm testes. Okay, same way in the ovary also, we have to see what are the different layers, where are the the gametes which are produced, and how they are released. Okay, so that we'll see in the other part now. Okay, everyone, the female reproductive system is clear properly?
Yes.
Yes, sir.